Welcome to the Busy to Balance podcast. I am your host, Jamie Zweer, and I'm the founder of Oh How Healthy. This podcast is all about how to show you, the overworked, overwhelmed, and occasionally unhealthy woman, how to find health and balance in all different areas of your life. I will share with you digestible, bite-sized bits of info on everything from balancing a healthy plate to keeping a healthy home and everything in between. Now listen, I know that you are busy, and that is why I will keep these episodes short, sweet, and to the point. Now let's dive into today's episode. Hi guys, thank you for tuning in. I'm really excited about this episode. This is a good one. This is actually my first official interview. I'm interviewing a good friend and fellow health coach, Liz Curran, and we have similar philosophies when it comes to what you should be eating and what you should be avoiding and just how to live a healthy life in general. But they are interpreted in different ways. My health coaching is primarily based on how nutrition builds upon living a balanced life, whereas Liz's coaching really hones in on how nutrition correlates with your mood and anxiety, and how your stress and anxiety levels are directly correlated to what kind of foods you're eating. So we both have very similar philosophies. We both graduated from the same school, and we work together really closely. And she's really a very intelligent woman. She is a busy mom of 3. She has a lot going on. She's a business owner. She maintains a house and a social life, and in addition to her kids and her business. So I ask her a little bit about how she balances all of that. And also she goes into a little bit about how food affects your mood and anxiety, as well as how to kind of combat those anxiety triggers that are ever so present today. So I hope that you enjoy this episode. It was really fun to record. And if you like episodes like this, if you like interviews, let me know, and I'll be sure to do more of them and bring on other experts that can support you in your health and wellness journey. So I hope you enjoy it, and I will talk to you soon. Hi, Liz. Thank you for joining and being part of the Busy to Balance podcast.
I'm so happy to be here.
Yay. Now, I don't think my followers know that we're quite good friends. We know each other very well. We've known each other for the past, year now?
2 years.
2 years, and we've become very, very close friends. We actually work together at the Healing Space, so, we both have similar coaching styles, but we have different expertise. So I love to hear about you and what you do and your coaching style. Yeah.
Yes, so I'm Liz, and as Jamie said, I'm a health coach in Healing Space with her. And I work with people who are struggling with everyday anxiety, and we work with their anxiety through diet change and lifestyle edits in their lifestyle, so we can make little modifications to address their anxiety in a holistic way.
Yeah, which is, anxiety is a huge component of living a healthy lifestyle and finding balance even in a busy life. Well, how do you, you're a busy mom of 3 adorable children, and you maintain a house, and you run a business, and you have an amazing social life. Liz is the networking queen. How do you find balance?
So for me, juggling all of the parts, I try to acknowledge what hat I'm wearing at what point in the day. Am I a mom? Am I wife? Am I health coach? Am I just Liz? What hat am I wearing at that time of day? And trying to be really mindful of being present at that time.
Yeah.
And part of that is time blocking, which is, acknowledging that anything before 8 a.m. is pretty much designated to my kids and getting them out the door. And then once they're out the door, it's the work hat, and I spend, most of the bulk of my day doing that.
Yeah.
And then at the strike of 3, when my kids are done done school, I pretty much give them, I say they own me from 3 to 8 p.m. And I run them wherever they need to be, spend time with them. all that good stuff. And then after 8, it's either, socializing or being a wife or being myself, reading a book, taking a bath. It's a lot of self-care so that I can be ready for the next day.
Which is essential. You have to fill up your cup before you fill up other people's cup,
Yep.
right? You can't pour from an empty pitcher.
That's right. That's what I always say, oxygen mask. If they say in the airplane that if you have to put the oxygen mask on yourself before helping children, which makes sense. Because as a mom, if mom falls apart, then, the pieces of the rest of the family kind of fall apart too.
Yes, yeah. Which some people consider that selfish sometimes, but it's not being selfish. It's not. It's necessary.
Yeah. It's keeping all the pieces together.
And a lot of people will say that they don't have time for those things, but it's essential because without that self-care time or without that, it sounds like you have strict boundaries. And without that, if you let someone in before 8 a.m. and then your time with your kids or yourself kind of falls behind, then it kind of throws everything off, right?
Yeah, those are the days that I'm running out with my hair wet and, don't look at myself for a couple hours in the mirror until I have a chance to pay attention. And, everybody has days like that, but our goal is to try to have as few distractions as possible so that we can stay even-keeled and keep ourselves, paced smoothly throughout the day.
Yeah, boundaries are key. I think that's the one thing that sometimes we can fall short on, or just say, just today. It will only be today, or only be an hour, or only be a little bit, but those things for sure.
I do find I use my timer on my phone a lot, even sometimes with friends. I'll have an alarm while I'm at the coffee shop just to make sure that I end my time and get to where I need to be next. And, I don't think that anybody thinks it's rude, but it's key for me to be able to do all of it.
Yes.
So.
Except for with me. Then I get all your time.
Endless.
Yeah, we blocked off 2 hours for each other today, which, it's essential for us to get our time together. We spend a couple hours together a week. We have our standing session or our coffee break or our chai tea break, and it kind of brings us back.
It gives us a chance to, one, kind of blow off our business steam to somebody who can relate in that way. And we're both, both coaches, and to be able to kind of bounce ideas off of each other for, future events and different things that we're doing. And then also just nurturing our friendship and giving that the time so that it's unstable ground. Yeah.
I say Liz. Liz is one of my favorite people. Her and Jesse, my husband, are on similar levels.
Sorry, Jesse.
So, Liz, okay, so you have a lot going on. Are there days where you're like, I just can't even today? Or my stress levels are high, anxiety is super high?
Yeah.
What is that? How does that feel?
So when those days creep up, which inevitably they do, and that can be dictated by my lack of sleep or my lack of patience for the crazy that goes on with my kids, or I'm having a rough day in general, whatever. Maybe I'm reflecting the weather and it's really dark and dreary out. But those are the days where I have to, put my own coaching hat on and think about, what do I tell my clients? Practice what I preach. Yeah. And take, I take the time when I remember, and it's not always easy to remember in the heat of the moment, but I'll try to do my breathing technique or make time for meditation, remove myself from a situation before it gets to a boiling point where, sometimes better than that at others, than other times. But, everybody has their times. But when that happens, I try to be mindful looking back later in the day as to, what were the triggers. Mm-hmm. And that's how I, kind of stem with my clients. Like, what are their triggers? Everybody's different, whether it's with food or their emotional state. And then that kind of, leads us into figuring out how they can kind of overcome their anxiety.
Yeah. So you just said food and your mental state. And I think it's super interesting. You, in your practice, you use a food and mood journal, and how the food can affect your anxiety levels, which is some things that you don't ever think about, really. So you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. Yep. So a lot of times with clients, we'll start our program utilizing food journaling and using that as I call myself a food detective. I like to look across, a week or two of food journaling. Yeah. And this is not, your Weight Watchers food journal where you're dissecting this brand of this and that many calories and that many grams of fat. I don't care about any of that. I just look across what people are eating without judgment of what that is and try to dissect what are they eating a lot of and what's consistently their go-to foods. And then if they're eating a lot of one thing, maybe talking about weaning that back and making space for other things that might be more healthful.
Yeah.
And then I'll have them check in after each meal, 15 minutes and an hour after they eat, and what is their food or their mood state and their physical state. Or, is their stomach bothering them? Is their energy low? Yeah. Stuff like that. Are they feeling great? Are they in a good mood? If it's 15 minutes after they had a big piece of chocolate cake, they're probably really happy. Yeah. And then an hour later, they're probably really sleepy. So, and just teaching people awareness and how food has an impact on everything that, we fuel our body with or, the stuff that doesn't serve us.
Yeah. Do you think that those people kind of resort to a certain food for the comfort, like the comfort level of it, so that they go to those foods to reduce anxiety or stress? For sure. I think that sugar is, and things that have kind of that same sugar effect on your body are people's go-tos. It gives them that initial rush and that kind of makes them feel good or gives them a burst of energy that they think is going to help fuel them through the next hour, kind of like a caffeine thing with coffee, same thing. And then once it wears off, they feel that crash. Yeah. And then what do? You want more of it. So then you end up, it's the cycle of eating more of whatever you're drawn to. So that's why I look at, what are people eating a lot of? Because then it will really help them see, why am I eating a lot of that? And even maybe sometimes it's just one specific food at one time of day. Every day at 2:00, what are they having for their snack? Is it something sweet because they're tired after lunch? Why are they tired from lunch? Did they have a big bowl of pasta or a couple pieces of pizza, maybe a soda? So after letting that work its way through your system and then having that crash, then you want to go back and have that candy bar from the vending machine or Slurpee if you're on the road. Yeah, and then those can cause stressors, I guess, if you're eating the same things or you feel guilty about having the chocolate, but you were craving the sugar, so you wanted the chocolate. Yeah. So. Yeah, and there's a lot of beating yourself up about, making bad food choices, and I do try to speak to the fact that that's not going to help you. You're choosing to eat the food, make the choice to eat the food, but then if you're going to beat yourself up about it later, it's going to do even more harm. So just having the right mindset of, I want to eat this chocolate cake because I'm at a birthday party for my 1-year-old and it's her first birthday and I want to be a part of the culture of eating a piece of cake. Yeah. Or, you're just somewhere and you wanted to have ice cream because everybody was having ice cream and it looked good and you wanted it. But making the choice, it doesn't matter if you eat cake or ice cream. It's just making the choice of acknowledging that you want it and eating it rather than just blindly eating mindless calories in front of the television because you're, bored. Yeah. So there's a big difference, and just making choices with your food is half the battle because then it leaves space for you to add things that are more nutrient dense the rest of the day. Yeah. I think that's how our practices kind of overlap in a sense because it's not about a diet. Right. You losing weight through working with you is a byproduct. Yep. That's a nice side effect. Yeah, it's the byproduct. And the same goes for like the balance coaching, like finding balance in your life. When the nutrition, the food side of things is just a tool that when you get the food right, then the anxiety goes away, the stress goes away, you find energy, you find ways to find balance, and you're in a better mood and all these different things. So the nutrition is a huge tool. It's like the core of it. Yeah. It starts with that, and then, I know you have people that come in for anxiety that have spot-on diets. They might be extremely healthy, but they always eat one specific thing. Yeah. And so it's, it's like just varying and making sure our bodies are able to process everything. Yeah. So. And I'm sure that's a tool or something that they do in their daily life to reduce anxiety because they can control their food. Yes, absolutely. So there is no leeway there if their child was having a birthday party and they had the cake. Like, that would have really thrown someone like that for a loop.
Yeah, it really depends on the person and what's setting off their anxiety. Sometimes, everybody has, it's just like food. Everybody has their one specific diet, and everybody has their own personal emotional path of, what's striking and triggering their anxiety levels.
Yes. So I noticed that with a lot of the women that I work with, they have anxiety when it comes to making food choices, whether they're at a restaurant or they're at a 4th of July party, and they have a lot of stress around, well, what do I do? How am I going to make it through this event?
Right.
So what would you recommend in that?
So I try to, think about the path of, is this a unique thing? Are you going to a very special wedding?
Yeah.
You can always be, trust me, I am not shy about asking for something to suit my needs at a wedding or a restaurant. I always joke that, if you've ever seen the movie When Harry Met Sally and Sally dissects the menu and asks for this or that on the side, that is me. Not everybody's brave enough to do that.
Yeah.
But my point is, if it's a one-time thing, just enjoy the day.
Yeah.
One meal is not going to make or break your diet or your mental state, especially if you're choosing it and you're at a wedding and you're excited and you're happy and you're in the moment and you just love the fact that you get to eat this beautiful steak if that's not something you usually eat, or a side of buttery filled mashed potatoes, I don't know, whatever. Whatever it might be on a wedding plate. But if you're at a barbecue, and sometimes what happens with summertime is you're at a barbecue on Saturday and then you do something on Sunday, maybe you go to brunch, or you have a lot more social gatherings with a lot less control over your food. And for me, I suggest, just picking and choosing your battles when you can and when you can't. Be picky about where you are. You have to eat. I advise you to eat over not eat anything. It's like a friend of mine said to me once, my kids love peaches. They just love peaches so much, and they would eat 7 a day if I would let them. And I'm sorry that the peaches are on the dirty dozen. I'm not buying organic peaches because my kids will eat 7 a day. She's like, I'd rather them eat a peach than not eat a peach at all. What are they going to go for if I don't give them the peach? And what a great lesson that is. It doesn't always have to be the cleanest or the best option. If, like an organic peach is ideal this time of year. But if giving your kid a peach because they want a peach, give your kid a peach. Give them peach pie, whatever it is. If you want to get the peach in them. So it's just, that kind of stuff. And then also I'm not shy about bringing what I need. If I'm going to a barbecue, without fail, I end up bringing some kind of side salad, whether I make a quinoa salad with kind of the pasta salad philosophy, or I'll make a green salad. If I bring something healthy, it is always gone. Because most of the time people want to eat that way. They just don't have the forethought to bring something like that. They're thinking potato salad or, a bag of chips, or, I'll bring the beer. I'll bring the buns for the burgers. But what about, the side dish that everybody is really craving is the nutrient foods. You see that and your body wants to eat that.
When you haven't had a salad in a while and you crave it, your body really needs it. I always say plan ahead. And if you're going to a party, bring something, like you just said. Everyone enjoys it. If you bring a nice Cobb salad with grilled chicken, it's gonna go fast. And when you're going to a restaurant or at that wedding, to use your voice, right? That's a key thing, to speak up and use your voice and say, blame it on your health coach if you want, or even say things like, you have an allergy, I have an allergy to dairy, I have an allergy to this, and then they have to be sure not to include it, or just ask questions, and by you saying, well, how is that fish cooked? Is it cooked in butter? Is it not cooked in butter? It gives you, it allows you to tap into your inner voice instead of just blindly, I'll order the fish and I hope it's not cooked in butter, and then maybe feeling a little guilty that way. But
or if you have an aversion, then I can't have dairy, so when I do, I lose my voice. So it strikes me where I need it most because I'm a talker. So that's a reflex reaction that my body has. So making sure that I don't have dairy is important, and there's other side effects as well besides just superficial not having my voice. But there are good reasons. I may not, my throat may not close up and I may not pass out from an anaphylactic shock.
Yeah.
But I might feel terrible for 2 or 3 days. So I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And there's no wedding or first birthday party or whatever the case that is going to allow me that flexibility. So whether I've been diagnosed with an allergy or not, it is treated by me as an allergy. And that's really all that's and anybody's business. It's no one's business, your waiter or your restaurant owner or your barbecue hosts. Why? Like you said, blame it on your health coach. Yeah. Worst case.
I tell people all the time, it's okay. Just put it on me at first. Yep. They say, especially that the dairy is a tricky one. I say if you ingest dairy, make sure it's organic. But dairy can be tricky. I think it's about like 75% of the population is lactose intolerant. Yeah. And you don't realize it until it's been removed. So 75% of the population, that's a lot of people. And I think like 100% of the population ingests dairy, at least at some point in their life. And until you remove it, you realize how good you feel. Oh. Your body is healing itself every day. It's doing its job every single day. So when it wants to just heal, but when it has to put out the fire of like, okay, this inflammation from this dairy, when it removes that, then you're like, oh, wow, look, like I have more energy, like I feel great. Mm-hmm. And it's not that you were, allergic to it, but you just are doing so much better without it. Your body doesn't have to put out those fires.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. So I often say when it comes to people who have anxiety triggers from food, I'll compare it similar to the cup you were saying earlier. I'll say, the cup is being filled with inflammation as you eat very conventionally, whether it's pesticides or, GMOs or just greasy McDonald's foods, the typical conventional foods. As your cup fills up with inflammation in your body, you might have a stomach ache, or maybe you can't sleep, or maybe, you start having bad skin, whatever the case. All of those things are your body trying to talk to you. But they're things that you can blow off. Yeah. I can still go to work. I didn't sleep great, whatever. Yeah. I'll still go to work. My stomach's bothering me, but I'll still push through it. So you push through it, and your body's still trying to talk to you, so it's doing more and more and more things to tell you. It's screaming from inside. Whether it's weight gain. So then I say, this is how once your cup is full, then I'm going for your emotions, because that's when people really, people have panic attacks. Like you can go the whole spectrum from being stressed to all the way having a panic attack, and there's a big spectrum of stress in there. So as people are inflamed internally, your body's like, okay, you didn't listen to me with the stomach ache, the weight gain, or the lack of sleep. Here I go. I'm going to take your emotions now. So you become much more irritable, much more cranky, and it's all a vicious cycle. Yeah. So once it goes for the emotions, that's when people really do start to do something, whether it's just getting on an anti-anxiety pill a lot of times. Yeah. But people who, probably are listening to this are going to go the more holistic route and try to make changes on their own before it gets to that point where they need the meds.
Yeah, and that always kills me when we just want to cover up a symptom with a pill, and then, well, guess what? Your body still is trying to tell you something, so if it doesn't tell you that way, something else is going to show up, something else is going to pop up. And the holistic route is always great. I know you use essential oils, right, in your practice? Yep. Do you have a couple favorites to reduce anxiety?
I love Serenity. Serenity is a blend that doTERRA puts out that works. It helps people with sleep if you take the supplement, but then also the essential oil itself is lavender-based, which is very calming. Yeah. And I definitely give out samples of that to lots of people in my life. And even in the heat of the moment, having people put a little on their hands and smelling it, and goes right up to their limbic part of their brain and tells the brain that everything's going to be okay. Yeah. And that communicates to the rest of your body to calm down a little bit, and it's going to be all right.
Yeah, essential oils are great. And that brand is a great brand. And I even heard if you put it on your feet, right? Doesn't it get into your system? Your pores are the largest in your feet.
Yeah, my youngest had asthma when she was really little, and I was giving her every inhaler and every drug that the doctors would suggest. Yeah. And somebody introduced me to the essential oil Breathe, which is a blend of peppermint and some other oils that are good for kind of the cold and the congestion and the sinus, and obviously the lungs. So they had said just put it on the pads of her toes when she's sleeping. And I was like, all right, okay, crazy person. I'm going to see if this fixes asthma. Sure. And guess what? It did. And every time that she would have an outbreak, I mean, by no means am I saying this is a replacement for an inhaler, a rescue inhaler.
Check
but
with your doctors.
Yeah, exactly. Caveat. Don't go off any medication. But there's no reason why you can't also use this on your skin at the same time, or just breathing in the scent, putting it in a diffuser at night.
Yeah.
But I would put it on the pads of her toes, and without fail, where before I would have to give her, start her on a medication, I was able to get her off the medication, and just whenever she started with a cold, I'd put that on her feet, and then she would be able to sleep a lot better.
Yeah, and you were the one that introduced me to lemongrass. Lemongrass is, when I'm out of my lavender, I use my lemongrass now, and it works just as well.
Yep.
It's very calming.
Yeah, lemongrass, oddly, people think of that kind of scent as being more vibrant, but really it's a calming one. It's good for sleep.
Very good, yeah.
And oddly enough, lavender and lemongrass are both good for fighting off bugs. This time of year, they don't. It's a good tick deterrent.
Like mosquitoes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think mosquitoes are against rosemary and citronella.
Yeah.
But then, I had recently met up with a tick and did some research, and ticks are definitely adverse to lavender and lemongrass. So if you're looking for some tick protection this summer, you can kind of put that in a little glass bottle and spray it on your clothes as you're heading into a hike.
So reduce your anxiety and ward off the bugs at the same
what a
time.
Beautiful pairing.
That is lovely. Well, this was great, Liz. How can people learn more about you, find you, learn more about essential oils?
So I have, my website is lizcurran.com, and on my resources page there is many different things, one of which is a link to my doTERRA site if people are interested in getting more information on that. I have a Facebook page that just says Liz Curran Health and Anxiety Coaching, kind of a long Facebook title, but you can find me there. You can also link to it from my website. And I'd say pretty much that's my go-to. You can connect with me through my website, whether it be via email or to set up a consultation. I do little, half-hour, 45-minute consultations with people if they want to come in and see if it's a good fit to meet up and work together on their diet and anxiety combination.
Yeah, and you're all over Collingswood. Like I said, she's a networking queen. So you will find her at any local coffee shop, at the Healing Space where we have our office, and a bunch of different
classes here and there. You can always check my website for upcoming stuff at libraries or yoga studios.
Yes, you've got it all going on.
It's very exciting.
Well, thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored. I've been a big fan of this podcast since it started.
Thank you. I'm sure you'll be on again in the near future. So
hope so.
Yeah,
look forward to big things.
Yay! So we'll be talking to you soon. Thanks, Liz.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I would love to hear from you. If you want to leave me a rating or review on iTunes, I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear your feedback, and so that I know what you like and what you don't like, and so that I can adjust this podcast according to you and your specific needs. So you can always reach me at Instagram or on Facebook or at my website. Most of my handles are ohhealthy with an OH as the O and then OH, HEALTHY. That's my website, that's my Instagram, that's my Facebook. And I would love to hear from you. So the more feedback, the better. I am so happy that you tuned in, and I will be talking to everyone soon.